Okay, I thought maybe I would start this in the house and then take the phone outside. Um, this recently my daughter-in-law told me that my grandson loves my nature walks. He calls them. He's 8 years old. His name is Carter. He's just absolutely. He's just got the sweetest personality. He's just an adorable little boy. Anyway, uh, one we are still working on our rock bed in the front, and I'm going to take you outside and show you the um, progress on that. But what I wanted to do was give you a little background about me and my history with rocks. When I was about 7 years old, my dad had completed the work on our brand new house that was located in a neighborhood that was fairly new. There were a lot of empty lots, and especially one right directly across the street. It was full of rocks, and I was just always fascinated by the texture and the feel of the rocks and the colors and all that. So I became a rock collector. I mean, we're talking about by the time I was a teenager, I had boxes of rocks underneath my bed, probably to hide them from my mother. But anyway, so when we built this house, and throughout my adult life, couple times I tried to build a rock bed, or pick up rocks from outside, and use them outside as flower, like around a flower box or whatever. Anyway, when we built this house, we moved in January of 2017. Sometime in February of that year, our one of our neighbors came up. He hauls rock and dirt and gravel and all that for a living. And he came up, and he was carrying a rock in his hand, and he showed it to us, and he said, "I've got half a load of river rock on my truck, and I need to get rid of it. Would you guys like to have it?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, free? Are you kidding?" And so we had him dump it at the top of the driveway, because our dirt our yard wasn't graded yet. It didn't get graded until June, actually. So anyway, that rock sat there for the next several months until it warmed up good. And anyway, what we did was that rock pretty much went into the rock bed that is on the hill beside the driveway. And what was left over, we used on another project. So I had told Larry that I wanted to do a river rock wall in the front, across where the bedroom and the office windows are. And so that's the project that we've been working on. But what I wanted to talk about, and this is for Carter, there is a history in the Ohio River and that's where all our rock came from. It came straight out of the Ohio River. There's a history of fossil beds in the Ohio River. And some years back, I don't know, probably 20 or something like that, that Indiana had a lot of fossil beds on their side of the river. And so they built a brand new state park called Falls of the Ohio. And that park's main draw is the fossil beds. And So as we were looking through, in that first batch of river rock that we got, river rock is really dirty when you get it because it's come straight out of the river, and it's anyway, it's just filthy. So I insisted on washing every bit of rock. I would sit down with a 5-gallon bucket and fill it full of water, fill it full of rocks and fill it full of water and hand rinse every rock. And the colors and the colors and the shapes were just absolutely fascinating to me. So anyway, I'm going to have to do this in stages, and it's I'm running out of time here. I've got a storage limitation on my phone. So I'm going to stop this one and I will start another one. Okay. This is take 2. Okay, so I was talking about the fossil beds. So when they dig the rock out of the river, and they bring it up, you have no idea what you're going to get. I mean, it can be from this big to this big in size. The type of rock all varies. But what I was really fascinated by when I started cleaning the rock was the amount of fossilized rocks. A lot of them are full of the imprints of shells, and I don't know, just sometimes we think we see leaves when we're cleaning them. Sorry, clear my throat. Anyway, so I got to where I was wanting to keep every little rock that had a leaf on it or a shell or whatever. And of course you can't do that. So I kept a little basket that I just found particularly interesting. And the little basket's probably about 8 by 10 or something like that. Anyway, so what I've done is I've got those out on the front porch. The best way to look at them is when they're wet. And so what I'm going to do is go outside and I'm going to show you a close-up of the rock pile so you can see how dirty it is when when it's dumped. And then I will show you our progress on the rock bed in front, and I'll show it to you. There's a tremendous difference between what it looks like dry and what it looks like wet. When it's dry, it's just pretty much all the same color. But when it's wet, the real deep colors and the patterns and everything come out, and you can see how beautiful the rock is. So I've set the hose up outside, so I'm going to show it to you dry, and then I'll wet it and show it to you wet. And then my little basket of rocks, I put some of them in water in a bowl out on the front porch, and I'll show you some of the fossilized ones that have pattern in them, and some of the ones that I thought were particularly pretty. There's a lot of little granite pebbles or granite rocks that are pink and black and white speckled and all that. And then we have what we call potato rocks. They just look like they just look like a potato. So I'll show you a couple of those too. So 1 minute. Okay, this is our big pile of river rock, and I don't know how well you can see. It comes with dirt and mud, and the rock is very dirty when it comes. Here's a good example of what it looks like. So like I said, I sit down with a bucket and I clean it, because well, number one, I can't stand to touch it when I have to touch it when it's dirty, but I don't want to put that in my nice clean rock bed. At least it will start out, you know, at least it will start out clean when it's in the, you know, when I put it down. So, okay. Then I'm going to walk back over. We've got all of the baskets full, and we're capping off the baskets with a 2x4 set down inside, and then we're going to put a deck board across the top as a just to finish it off. Okay, so this is what our rock bed looks like so far. As you can see, it all pretty much, you know, except for a few, it all pretty much just looks gray and dull. Oops. So I'm going to wet it down now so you'll hear the spray of the hose. Okay, as you can see, all of the color in the rock comes out when it's wet. I did look up one time about, you know, spraying rock with something that will allow it to keep the color, and people, it was in a gardening forums. And people were like, oh, no, don't do that. You have to leave, you know, it has to be natural and all that. So, anyway. So, that's about it for that. And I'm going to stop this and go up onto the porch and show you some of the detail in some of the smaller rocks. Okay. This one, if you can see the imprints of the shells in it. That's a really good example of what this type of rock looks like, the fossilized rock. I don't know who's, oh shoot. I was getting a phone call. That's why I stopped. This was a piece that I pulled out yesterday, and it just has such beautiful colors in it. Okay. Then this is a piece of that more like, I don't know what the rock is called, but I call it granite. Because it just has that, it's pink and black, and trying to get it in the shade here, so there's not a glare. So that would be another type. And this has all kinds of coppery colors in it. Oh, I know why I kept this one. This one has, you can't really see it, but it's got like a pink stripe in the middle of the rock. Okay, here's another example of a speckled rock that has kind of like the granite, kind of like a granite rock. And this one has stripes in it. I don't know if you can, yeah, I guess. And it's just kind of black and gray. Okay, now, finish up my little rock talk here. This I saved because it was this beautiful orange color, and it has all of this pretty pattern in it. But I don't know if you can see. This is just so pretty. All right, now this is the one that had the interesting pink stripes in it. The other reason I saved this one was that it looks like, let me see if I can get it turned around the right way. It looks like there is a rock inside of a rock. This right here looks different than this. These will go, most of these will go back in my rock bed, but I just pulled them out to show you. Okay, this one I thought was really cute. This was one that I saved from last year. It has the interior imprint of a shell on this side, and then it has the exterior on this side. Then here's another one, another fossilized shell or shell shape. And this one. See, they're just rough rock on the bottom part. So it's kind of interesting to ponder how many thousands of years it must have taken for those shells to imprint on the rocks. Here's another one that has a shell right here, a shell shape in it. And just, yeah, just rough on the other side. But, let's see. Oh, here's one. It's got the imprint of the shell on the side. And that's it. And then I think the dog wants to go inside. She's kind of, I can't remember why I kept that one, but oh, it was a heart shape. That was it. So anyway, okay, that's it for today. Carter, honey, this is for you. Oh, let me show you this little. It is just kind of a coppery color rock, and it's got this pretty yellow design in it. Just a little sliver. Probably not more than about 2 by 2 inches. Okay, that's it. So, Carter, this is for you. Another nature walk just